Sawadee Cup and welcome to another episode here for the Fungal Pod. And it's time for the academic corner. End of the week, we talk about what happened in your life, in academics, teaching, research, all those things that make academics so fun. Just leave it at that. So what happened, or what do I want to talk about this week? So this week is actually something that I observed for a while, and I think my colleagues probably agree, because here or there we talk about it, and so I'm curious to hear what others think about it. It's close to the end of the semester now, like 1 or 2 weeks left, and the fourth year students are falling off, like in terms of motivation. You can clearly see they just all want to get it over with. Like the motivation to really perform well might be there for some, but not to an extent that it was there before. Like the students that you consider good students, some of them are like also falling off and just can't seem to find that extra gear anymore. And so it seems like motivation close to finishing, close to graduating, seems to be really flailing right now. And I read lots of comments also about this on Twitter and so on, people calling it like Senoritis or something. So when once you're like a senior and you're getting older in your academic career, you seem to lose some of the motivation that you might have had before. And that's a bit sad, obviously, because and I try to tell students like, hey, don't F up the last 3 weeks. Don't F up in those last 3 weeks what you built the last 3 years. That would be sad, right? You're working hard for 3 years, and then in your fourth year, for those watching, my cat is just video bombing me. Hey, Snooze. So, yeah, you work hard for 3 years, and then those last 3 weeks, you're just like losing motivation. Like, I just want to get it over with. I understand that. I sympathize with it, but just try to take yourself out of it for a second and be like, that's not smart. I do understand the feeling. We've been there, right? Totally understandable, but completely unreasonable. So let me just finish somehow now. If you spend 3 years building up a good GPA or whatever your goal is, right? And you're working 3 years for that, and then just 3 weeks before you finish, you're like, oh, F it. I just want to finish now. I don't care anymore if I have like an A, B plus, B, or C. I just want to pass now. Yes, grades don't define who you are. Grades don't define your life necessarily, depending on what you're planning to do. But just like the waste of time then. Like, I mean, if that's your approach, then don't try for 3 years and do something outside and just go to class, pass stuff, build an empire while you're doing it. Fantastic. But if you're really working hard for 3 years and then just throw it away, that just bothers me. It's just not reasonable. It just doesn't make sense. And I hate when people waste time and potential. So that's just really sad there. And I've seen it a few times now. And yes, you can talk with the students. Some will say like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, I'll try to get it back together. Do you have any tips maybe how to get it back together and how to motivate myself again? A few students actually texted me on MS Teams. That's our platform that we're using at our uni. Like, hey, Ajahn, I realized like my motivation is a bit gone right now, and I don't know what to do. Do you have any tips? I mean, I can't really motivate you if you don't want to, but I appreciate if someone sees that and then we can work on it. We're like, okay, like, why is your motivation gone right now? Like, what is this? Too many assignments? Has it been too long? Like, why is your motivation gone? And if we figure this out, then maybe we can find a way to circumvent it again or something. But I mean, the first step is realizing that this is happening. Others, of course, are completely ignorant to it and saying like, I don't care. I have my job lined up for after graduation, whatever, my family business and so on, doesn't matter. Fair, okay, great, but then just don't complain about it. And so yeah, that's just one thing that I realized over the past few weeks, and that goes back to what we discussed before on the podcast as well, like motivation, right? Like, how do you motivate students? And I mean, you all know the different forms of motivation, right? Intrinsic, extrinsic motivation. So is it my job to motivate the students? Lots of text out there suggests not, and I agree. It's not necessarily my job to motivate the students, but I feel like if motivation is just part of it, right? Like if I do a good job, then hopefully I will be motivated. But like running basically after them and saying like, hey, come on, be motivated, do it. I don't think that's our job. But let me know what you think. I mean, you can't do it for like, I don't know, 100, 200, how many students there might be in your circle. You can't do it for everybody, right? So providing the engaging content, yeah, of course. But then, and engaging class structures and learning structures and so on, of course. But do you try to like motivate just everybody and like, hey, I realized this past year or this past, I don't know, semester or the past few weeks, you've been dropping off a little, let me help you. Again, if they ask for help, always there to help. But do you actually really go after it and say like, hey, I've seen this student dropping off this. I'm really curious if you really actively pursue those students, or if you're more like me, like say like, if you want help, if you ask for it, I'm always there to help, like anytime. But if you're not trying, then right. But generally speaking, in the senoritis sounds like almost like it's like something Spanish. Senoritis. Okay, it's been a while since I spoke Spanish. But this seems to be a thing, and it's sad. And now to make it come full circle, to like close that circle of my questions for today or for right now in regards to this topic, is just is it a thing where you are as well? Do you observe this as well? And B, what you're gonna do? Because of course, and when those students then dropping off, they might also drag others down, right? So do you intervene or don't you intervene? So it's just really a very interesting question that's like playing out in my head right now, how to intervene, should we intervene? I don't want to see students fail anyways, but if it's students that have been like good students for 3 years and then all of a sudden they're not, like, what can we do? So let me know your thoughts on this. On the other hand, I also have to say though, now, like just like in sports, there's some come behind victories in classes, like students that maybe in their first and second year haven't been that great. Then they went on to do like an internship during the holidays or whatever happened. Went to an exchange, for example, an exchange semester somewhere, and then now they're back in the fourth year with us, and now they're just turning things around. They're like more confident. They have a more open mind. They just aren't stuck in their path anymore. So that's great to see. So that makes me very happy if I see that like students who just like turn things around. Like, no, okay, I'm finding my way. I was struggling in the beginning a little bit, but now I figure out who I am, and now I just can be myself and I can do my stuff, and that's very cool to see. And we also have that a lot, of course. So I'm very happy about this. But again, the question to you right now would be like this senoritis thing. Do you see that with your students? If so, what you do? That's my question for this week. I think that's enough, because next week we'll have the end of the semester. So then I'll do like a recap thing. And after the end of the semester, eventually, hopefully, I will have some guests on here once our semester is over and I can focus on like booking the guests and finding the right locations and so on. So that's it for this week for the Academic Corner. Let me know again how you handle this, how this is happening in your circle of students, colleagues, and so on. Shout out social media at Funkitpod, email funkitpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the thing. That would be great to reach like a wider audience so we can have broader discussions. If you're listening to the podcast on any podcasting platform, rate it. Ratings help to be discovered by the algorithms, and we know that algorithms are important. Waiting for the Twitter podcast now, actually. Let's see what happens there. Until then, as always, stay safe, take care, subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Sawadee Cup.